took a very long time for me to really hone my skills in graphic designing. Right? I didn't learn graphic design through Canva, I learned through Photoshop and Corel Draw. That was a long time, right? But how I got into using Canva was because of my clients. My clients would tell me, listen, I want to be more collaborative, I want to work with you, I don't have the big budget for certain things, I want to be able to edit their designs. And so that's how it came to play. And how I became an ambassador for Canva was pretty simple. I was talking about Canva from the early days when it just came out, right? I've been telling my coworkers to use Canva. I've been using Canva and Photoshop at the same time. Just talking about all the time. You can come like an evangelist. A lot of people nowadays know me because I talk a lot about Canva. And the reason I talk about it so much is because it makes the process easier. I got more confident in my graphic designing skills simply because I was using Canva. That's just the truth. So, just a little bit about the journey. Like, that's me, young Carey-Lee. Those are the times that I was learning about graphic design. As I said, my interest wasn't graphic designing really, though I was doing it. I was doing more the writing and that kind of thing, with the poems and writing my little stories. And then, like I said, my clients through Fiverr, Upwork liked the fact that I was focusing on Canva. I was open to using Canva as a tool. And how it even evolved more was when I decided, you know what, I have to share my knowledge on Canva. We'll start a YouTube channel and start sharing. So we just flip through them quickly, just to share. So these are just behind the scenes how I started the journey. I have tons of video on YouTube. So if you're the tutorial type and you want to learn about Canva, I'm your girl, right? And the name on YouTube and social media is Carey Digital. Alright? So we're just skipping through and I talk about pretty much everything. How to build your website. My main focus is how to build your online presence using Canva. Right? And these are one of these, I want to pause here just a little. So 2 years ago I decided, you know what? I'm going to explore self-publishing. I'm not sure how many of you on social media see a lot of people talk about you can make money off of Canva, create your own journal, create your own book, create your all kind of things. And I said, you know what, I'm going to test out the waters. Because one of the things is I love journals. And it's like, I have the Canva skills, I have the design skills, let's create it. And so I created my very own notebook journal, created it, published it on Amazon Canva. And everything from the concept, to the marketing, the design, everything was done in Canva. Yeah. Alright, so these are just some of the designs and even the mockups. So for my authors here, right, if you're thinking about a concept, maybe you don't want to use it as the official platform for your book cover, you can start with the concept there. Right. You can start sharing. Right, so everything, the layouts, I know Amazon KDP, I had to start to learn how to do that and do the layouts. Right, so everything is, they can just right, pause here. And even the website, created it on Canva. So my authors as well, and even the graphics that I used on Amazon's page, everything done in Canva. So what I am saying is, you can use Canva as your one-stop shop, from the concept to the design to even writing a manuscript. Alright? So, in a world, endless possibilities, creative ideas, sometimes there's a challenge. How do I take this creative idea and create a beautiful masterpiece? And Canva is the unsung hero in this story. And I have 4 parts, one for my authors, one for my editors, one for my publishers, and one for my creative professionals. I hope I'm not leaving out anyone, but let's dive into it. Alright? Continue? Yes. Alright, so my authors, a big part of what I share in terms of a Canva is building your identity, your branding. So as an author, you want to build that personal brand, right? So you're writing that book, which is amazing, but want to know a little bit about who is behind the book. And one of the first things is we're touching on, next slide. Right, so let's skip this part. We're talking about designing your book cover. Alright, so on Canva there are thousands of templates. You can use the templates to guide you, keywords guide you in choosing what you want your book cover to look like. or you can create from scratch. I know some of you have a vision of what you want that book cover to look like. So these two books, well, this is the one I created in the notebook journal, and this one is one I did for a client. So what I did was to create them from scratch, right? But then this is also a template from Canva. One of the things you don't want to do not take the templates from Canva, change the text, and then publish it as your book. Big no-no, right? Copyright, we're talking about intellectual property and stuff earlier. Big no-no. Use the templates as a guide. You want to stand out and be unique, right? So think about your audience. We talked about that earlier. And create your workbook cover. So that's one thing that you can do using Canva. I did miss out something though. There are different versions or templates for everything. So whether you're doing a printed version or a digital version of your book, there's something for you. If you are doing creating your book for Amazon KDP, I've seen Wattpad. Yeah? There are templates for those as well. If you are doing the layout for the inside of the book versus the cover of the book, there are templates for that as well. So if you're not sure where to start, this is a good starting ground, and it is already optimized based on the size and everything. So this was just a video just showing you how you can just browse. Key thing, just think about a keyword, whatever you want to look for. Put it in the search bar, the templates will come up. You'll see the filters, you can filter which color you want, which category, easy to use. Next slide. A big part, and I think this is one of the fun parts, we've been talking a lot about AI this all morning, character development. So you have conceptualized, your book, or maybe you have written or completed a manuscript, maybe you're writing a storybook. And you're like, you know what? I have an idea for what I want a character to look like. Use AI. You can use AI with two specific features in Canva, Magic Media and Dreamlab. So Dreamlab is one of the newest features that was rolled out, or tools rather, that you can utilize. Same thing with the prompts. You write in the prompt, you tell it what you want. It can be very descriptive. I like to say, always think about the end in mind. And then you create that character. So these are prompts that I have created, or these are images created from prompts, right? So one here you see two children playing in the background on the beach. This is supposed to be Jamaican children. This one, so one of the things I like about the AI aspect of the design is we can be more inclusive and we have representation. Very good. So next slide. Sure.
That is interactive so that we can move quickly.
Yeah, sure.
But with AI, sometimes what we've realized that when you generate images, there are distortions where if you're not checking in detail, like having 7 fingers on one hand, which there are people with extra digits, but so we're not talking about that, but just it's 10 fingers typically. 10. There are other things that you can pick up sometimes, and I see people just publish it anyway. Sometimes it may be an oversight, but some are very obvious. And we're seeing where more big brands are using AI as well in ads. There's a very big brand that I saw that used one instead of an original photo. So can you just pause and talk to us about that for a second or two?
Alright, so one of the things I like to say, so as much as I'm talking about AI here in terms of images and inclusivity, I'm very fond of creating original photos and that kind of thing, but there are cases when as a designer, I've searched for images and I can't find anything, and the AI has literally worked in favor for me. And as Latoya said, sometimes you see a bit of distortion. In this photo, you're actually seeing it. So you, the creator, have to look and see if there's anything that is a little off. Because at the end of the day, everything that you put out represents you, right? So I would say you can continue generating different images. Remember, first, I know specifically for Canva, it is a working process, so you might not get the perfect image, but you will get something. So you can, instead of choosing a full body deal, you want to get the face, or you want a close-up, you can be very specific, right? But always look for those fine details. The good thing with the character development here is that you can choose actual how you want the photos to be generated, whether you want it to be animated or you want something comical like cartoon like, you have the option. As you realize there are 3 different types of images here. Alright? And this is just me putting in a prompt showing you, or before I just tested out this Canva's an unsung hero. So if you realize they're using Superman and stuff, and all they did was just put the logo on it. Again, like I said, you have to be very clear with prompts. Right? This one is very basic, to be honest. So I wish it wasn't better.
This is in Dreamlab?
This is Dreamlab.
And it's like it's open air like that.
It's open, so this, if you have a free version of Canva, you can utilize this, right? But a key thing to note here at the top, you'll realize there's like a magic, and you see a number there, I think you get like 500 credits. Yeah, like a, right. So you have credits, so once you exceed that credit, then you will tell you how to pay, that kind of thing. Right, alright, so we can see next minute. Alright, another thing you can do, map out a concept. I'm not sure how many of you use the mind mapping. You can use the whiteboard feature in Canva to do that. You can organize your thoughts. You have a story in mind. You can make the connections, write the flow of the story, everything. Guys, if you have questions, please stop me in between, alright? And
she'll hang around a little bit after, so you can have a conversation.
Right. And then for, don't go back to manuscript. So I'm not sure what the tool most of you guys use for writing your manuscript, but if you are open to other platforms, you can consider Canva. So there's Canva Docs. If you think about Canva Docs, it's similar to Google Docs, Microsoft, yeah, everything. But the difference here, you have a more visual approach to utilizing this. So when you write your manuscript, if you want to include graphics or a table, anything you want to include, you can include it here. Another key thing is, not sure how many of you guys know about brand voice, but the tone in which you speak, whether you're friendly, you can also use the Magic Write, which is also AI powered, to help you to reframe how you write that story. You don't want to lose the essence of who you are and what you're writing, but it's something that can guide you. You can also utilize it to help you to identify any gaps or if there's any grammatical errors and restructuring. So those are some things you can do. This one is, you have to have Canva Pro to utilize this one. Alright, next one. And then this is an app you should know. So for those of you who are into coloring book, you can include your prompt and you write in the text and you get an image. So similar to what you see here. So this is a coloring book, and if you want to utilize this type of app to do your coloring book, you can do that as well. Again, guys, remember, you don't want to tell the people, you know, we say it's AI, but then you want to also be mindful about the intellectual property and that kind of thing. Go ahead.
So, for example, if you wanted to create a coloring book, you could just give it the prompt and then it would generate something.
Yes.
That would be, right,
yeah.
Your original. It's your thoughts.
It's your thoughts.
Right, so your original coloring
What do you
concept.
use to check copyright in terms of if it's so that we realize that AI is using existing materials to train.
Mm-hmm.
So what if it's trained on a database with tons of images that would not end up in your coloring book? What do you use to detect that?
Alright, so I know a key thing that Canva's literally outlined on their website is that, you know, you have to be mindful. There's a whole thing there. So there's nothing to check per se right now, right? But I know in terms of licensing and copyright and intellectual property, they have outlined that you have to just, you know, be mindful. So I can share with you guys like a resource page because I have some bonus resources for you guys. I can share that with you. Alright? So now for my editors, it's mostly for collaborating. You can utilize same not ChatGPT, but Canva Write for collaboration as well. One of the key things I like, one of the key things I like here in terms of your manuscripts, like I mentioned earlier, you can rewrite it, but the author and the editor can work here. They can leave comments. So if you see this little toolbar, right? When you click that bubble, which is like a chat bubble, you can make your comments on sections that they can work on improving. So that's a way that editors can use it. At a minimal level, mostly with a Canva, right? If you want to include probably like slides or presentations, then sure, but for the most part, it's using the AI Magic Write feature. And then from our publishers, I think there's so many exciting things in Canva for publishers and also my creative professionals we'll talk about in a few. But in terms of bringing your stories to life, Canva has a lot of third-party apps that are integrated in Canva. And that's one of the things. So Canva's evolved so much to the point where third-party apps or the apps aspect of Canva is what's making it stand out now. And I want to share with you, well, this is the book layout that I mentioned earlier, so I don't want to spend too much time here. Right. But there are books, there are features, I would say, or apps, such as Hey-Zine flipbooks and Hissue, right? Where you can utilize these and transform your designs into flipbooks. I know some persons like flipbooks. You can use this as a platform. One of the things you have to be mindful of is for some of them you have to have an account with them separately outside of Canva. Some of them are paid platforms, but what you can do, if you have the pro version, you'll get credits, right? But if you have the free version, there's some that you just absolutely cannot use. So just be mindful of those little things. There are third-party apps, it's just that it is seamlessly integrated into Canva. It's like clicking a design and then choosing which one of the platforms you want your work to be published through. Alright? Alright, this is another one, simple booklet. It's a similar approach as well. You choose your design that you want to convert into a flipbook and you have it interactive. It is very interactive, so whether it's a book, in a presentation, that kind of thing. And I mentioned Hissue. I'm not sure how many of you guys know that, but in my earlier days when I used to, create magazines, I would create them and then convert them or actually make it into a flipbook on Hissue. Now with Canva, you do everything in one place. It's integrated. So when you hear a person talk about Canva apps, they're often integrated in Canva. And some of them are originally designed apps through Canva, but majority of them are third party. So just be mindful of that as well. Alright, so for my sales and marketing teams. Alright, so once the book is done, it's time for you to shine. You need to get that work out there. We need it in front of the right people. And again, the important part is how are you going to put out there? We can create your social media graphics using Canva. Literally for any platform. You can think of your LinkedIn, your Facebook, your Instagram. You can create your reels on Canva. And no persons have their preferred platforms. For me, I use Canva plus others. Depends on what I want and how quickly I want to get the output out. But you can create using Canva. So I'm going to show you. Right? So there's one of the things I know is big for getting your books out is social media campaigns. And so there's this feature in Canva in the template section called Work Kits. So what Canva has done is really put together different templates that can make the process easier for a marketing team. And as you see, I'm scrolling through here. They have the presentation templates, the campaign assets, and one of my favorites that I'll touch on shortly is you're creating Amazon ads. So for those of you who are publishing your books on Amazon, you create your ads in Canva, you connect it to your Amazon account, and then you can run ads. Also, next slide. Alright, so for creating ads, these are just general templates that can guide you. But for the ads, you also have for Meta. So Meta, Facebook, Instagram, for those of you who are not necessarily so good at knowing what a good ad looks like or what that layout should be like, you can do they call it like a double check. So you're checking to ensure that all the elements are there. So I know from a Canva standpoint, you might not see yourself as a designer, but there are so many tools and features in there to guide you in terms of accessibility. So if, for instance, you're not so good at choosing the right colors, right? They will tell you, listen, the contrast is off. The blue and that pink shade of pink don't go well together, right? So let's give you this one. And of course, you can create your press kit. I want to go to the
Next one.
yes. So this is what I was mentioning earlier. You develop your Amazon ads with ease. So what it looks for is the compliance issues, right? And publish them directly to your Amazon ad. So these are some features that you should know, or apps I would say that it's good to know. Always, if you want to, by using this app, check the terms and reference. Don't overlook that. I think sometimes we can get a little carried away, but always check them, right? And if you see the layout here, it will tell you either you want to upload your design or you create it in Canva, and you have the option to check design, or you can skip that step. But I would suggest checking it. All right. The next app I mentioned earlier is best practices for Facebook and Instagram. Again, it will tell you how it gives you feedback. Is your design a good design for that ad? Right? As you see, you can resize it to easy improvement. And this is a big thing as well. You're publishing your work on social media. You want to ensure you have the correct dimensions. The dimension used on Facebook might not be the same used on Instagram and vice versa, or other platforms. So use apps like these to help you and to guide you, right? This is another one, mockups. So earlier I mentioned that when I designed the book, I did mockups in Canva. And this is a whole section by itself on Canva. You can go to the section that says apps, and if you scroll all the way down to the lower end of the page, you will find mockups. And you have mockups for print as well as for digital versions. So your tablets, whatever it is, you can just browse and you'll find mockups for those. In terms of, I know the big thing is, can I use it? Do I have the rights to it? A lot of them, you can use them from a commercial standpoint. So you have the commercial rights to use them. There's a new feature I know they're rolling out that you can use your very own image and you can transform it into a mockup. So similar to how you see this hand here with the tablet, if you take a photo like that, you can input your mockup there. So it makes the process much easier, having some amount of originality. Yeah. Alright. Okay, so skip that. Alright, so the answer to the question, can you Canva? The answer is yes. From start to end, whether you're a first time or you're an expert, you can utilize Canva at every step of the way.